Hello, 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 everyone. This is Big Baby Ben.
Judas Black here tonight, and tonight we have a superhero on the show, Kid Lat Boy Wonder, down at the bottom of my screen here. And tonight we want to give him the floor for a little bit, kind of let you tell about yourself, and kind of how you got your start. Any news about any shows coming up that you're going to be a part of, and maybe some tag teams you're a part of that we'd like to know about. But my first question I do have to ask before I let you go is, how old are you?
I'm 18 years of age.
Okay.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Okay. So how long you been wrestling though?
I've been training about, I want to say almost 3 years, roughly on that side. I've been working for around 2. So, yeah.
All right. Well, the spotlight is all yours, brother. Go ahead and take off.
All right. Yeah. So my name's Kid Lat, the Boy Wonder. I'm a pro wrestling talent here in the Midwest, Chicago, Wisconsin area. And you could usually find me a lot of different promotions, mainly Frontline Pro out in Wisconsin, Wrestle League here in Chicago, All-Star Lucha Libre out in Chicago, and as of recently, Midwest Championship Wrestling as well as Defiant Pros, promotions like that, or where I'm regularly found.
All right. And where did you kind of get your start? Was there a specific promotion you trained with, school and whatnot?
Yeah, so I started at the Wrestle League Chicago Dojo Academy. Trained by Shogun Chris Logan, his brother Shane Foster, who's been retired for a little bit. Lewis the Wrench, who's been retired as well for a minute now, and then Quinn Whittick as well.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Okay, do you got any shows that are coming up that you're going to be a part of?
Yeah, so for stuff coming up, this weekend I have a show at All-Star Lucha Libre out in Berwyn Eagles Club. That'll be June 9th. Lincoln Hall for Wrestle League, we're out there Thursday, June 13th next week. And then for Frontline Pro as well as Battle Tested Pro Wrestling out in Milwaukee or out in Oak Creek, Wisconsin at the Salvation Army for Battle Lines. Those are some of the bigger ones coming up.
Awesome.
Okay. All right. Big Baby.
So, is there any talent in the Midwest that Kid Lat wants to work with?
Oh man, always love that question. There's a whole lot. It's a very stacked region. Some that come to mind are, I think it's pretty interesting. There's a lot of younger talent that I think I think I can make some pretty cool stuff with, like mainly like Jack Valor out from CSW and his partner Eddie Grayson.
He's impressive.
I recently got the opportunity to work with Stone Ambrose and Robbie Reeves of Freelance. I just worked them out Defiant a couple of days ago. They're rather young too. Just a lot of younger guys that I think there's a whole lot of potential here. One of my main tag team partners is my roommate. He's the same age as me, 18. Adonis Allen. All the time, I like to think about, us as well as younger talents from other schools in the region. Just the possibilities of those. I think it's a really cool thought. So,
absolutely. So, do you think that this is a question we like to ask almost everybody? Do you think that locker room morale specifically in a show that you go to, locker room morale, like the attitude, the atmosphere, affects the matches that are going to be happening that night?
I mean, absolutely. I've been pretty lucky in terms of locker room morale. Most of the promotions I end up in, if not all, I can't really recall a terrible experience of a locker room, but most of the promotions I end up working at a very healthy locker rooms environments, and that's definitely something you want to have when building a company and building a promotion. It oftentimes results in a better show. So.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. Trying to think here. My mind's all jumbled today.
I got one.
Go ahead, Big Baby.
So, when you study tape and you watch wrestling, who do you watch? Who inspires you?
Mainly I do like to focus in on a lot of tape of a lot of career baby faces actually. So I mean, mainly ever since I've been growing up, I've loved Rey Mysterio and I watch Rey Mysterio tape all the time. I watched a lot of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat tape, um, a lot of Brian Danielson too.
Okay, yeah, Brian Danielson's good. Yeah.
His Daniel Bryan like Yes Movement babyface run from 2013, 2014.
Epic.
Mainly. I always go back to that. So,
Absolutely epic.
yeah.
Okay.
Epic.
What was one of the most challenging moves that you've learned to date?
Oh, I've been training in lucha from less time than I have been training in American. I picked it up about a year and a half ago. There's a lot of challenging stuff in that department. It took me a while actually. I'd have to say if I had to shout out one move that was like took me a while to get the hang of. Probably like a deja vu head scissors where you go around a couple rotations. It took me a while to get that down, so I'm still sort of working on it.
Okay. All right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I think one of the toughest moves that I would say that I'm learning to master is a freaking wheelbarrow. For some reason, I can't figure that thing out. It's tricky. It really is kind of tricky how to get your body in that right position. So, is there ever been a piece of advice that any coach has given you that was a very great piece of advice that you've taken to heart and you kind of instilled into what you do today?
I've had a lot of good trainers coming up, as I previously shouted them out, but they've all given me great like in-ring advice, stuff about working, stuff like that. But one that really comes to mind in the more like business aspect of the industry is Quinn Whittick. Really taught me a lot about that. He really got my foot in the door in a lot of the promotions I'm at now. Just to just stay humble and to stay hungry and just keep getting at opportunities that come your way. Taking advantage of those mainly.
Okay. Okay. Big baby.
So how did Kid Lat Boy Wonder come about?
Yeah. Well, I mean, before really getting to that, I guess to explain the name Kid Lat, just really quick, because
Awesome.
it might be a confusing name to hear at first. A lot of people think like lats, like muscles. Immediately.
Yeah.
I'm clearly a smaller individual, so that's not really my thought process behind it. But my mom's side of the family is from Iloilo, Philippines.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so they speak Tagalog, and just the word Kidlat in Tagalog means lightning bolt. And I just thought
Awesome.
it'd make a cool name. I always consider myself pretty quick, so
Absolutely.
I was a kid. Lightning quick. I just sort of put it together. Yeah, and then with the superhero gimmick, yeah, it's just always something I liked.
So I'm just curious, as you get older, you become an older man, and stuff like that. Is it going to change to adult Lat Man Wonder?
I mean, we'll just have to play it by ear, really.
You're good. I had to crack a joke a little bit there. Did you have to show any of the coaches your new moves before you were able to actually try to attempt them?
I can't really think of a specific instance where I had to do that. I think my coaches for the most part really are responsible for my move set. Really, sort of their offense for a lot of them, especially in the lucha department. Taking stuff from them, bits and pieces from them, really, than coming up on stuff on my own part. So I kind of owe it mostly to them in the move department.
Okay, all right. And has there been any time frame, I guess, since you've been wrestling that you've faced an injury at this point in your game so far where you thought it could have been kind of life altering for you?
I'm very thankful to say I've never had anything that serious come up. So
Okay.
I would say no.
Okay, big baby.
So we were there live running a podcast. Great match, by the way. You recently shared the ring with Apex.
Yes.
How was that experience with Apex?
Well, just sort of speaking on the competition side of things, Apex is really he's a very serious sort of individual, and standing toe to toe against them in the ring. It was definitely a great honor, but it was definitely a little nerve wracking to say the least. But I mean, when I went out there, during the battle, I decided my main goal really was of course I wanted to win, but I knew of my chances beforehand. Weren't absolutely in the bag or anything like that. But I wanted to make sure, if at the very least I could earn the respect of Apex in the match. So that sort of was plan A.
So the crowd was chanting during that match, and before you got started, they were chanting as well. Apex is gonna kill you.
Yes.
Did that mess with your mental at all?
Well, I'd say it's always jarring to hear not really threats, but sort of predictions on your own life. But I knew what I was getting into beforehand, and I walked away intact. So, everything is all good.
Probably a little sore the next day, though, right?
Absolutely.
But I mean, I do gotta say, Kid Lat, that was a very impressive showing. I really enjoyed calling that match. I mean, I thought you were gonna win. To be honest, we were cheering for you, my guy.
Awesome, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we knew when we saw you, we had to get you live on Wrestling with Bros because you are an outstanding talent and have so much to offer for this business. And we want to spread the word about that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Wrestling with Bros is all about that, man. Getting the next guy on here, giving them a little bit of time to talk about themselves, because if you don't sit down and talk with people every now and then, people they're gonna see you. But if you don't talk and express yourself, then they don't know who you really are. So, what was one of the most daring moves you've ever tried?
Ooh, daring moves. I'd say probably one I was the most nervous for was the first ever time I did I've done a lot of dives. I do a lot of dives. I don't know, as many high flyers do, but my first time ever trying like a swanton into a crowd of people on the outside. I did it for this High Flyers Cup All-Star Lucha Libre match. That was pretty jarring at first because, I have no problem jumping. I have no problem being aerial, but when you start to add rotations into it, it definitely takes a second to really get that down and be comfortable with it. And that was sort of my first time attempting it in a match. So I'd say that was probably my most nerve-wracking experience.
Okay. Absolutely. What was the toughest opponent you faced to date?
Again, once again, it's another one of those questions where there's just so many. I mean, the region is so stacked with so many people. Apex is definitely up there after that experience, but I've had difficult tasks in the past where my chances seemed insurmountable. I've wrestled Joey Avalon once in a triple threat match that I didn't think my chances of winning were too high there either. That one really definitely comes to mind. I've wrestled one of my coaches, Quinn Whittick. That was a great match. I think I put up a great fight, but at the end of the day, tough opponents are tough opponents, and things, everybody has a chance at any given time, but there's definitely odds to the matter,
When you're a small person in a big world, it can definitely make a big difference. That's for sure. So 100%. So have you ever had to dig deep into your bag of tricks to win a match?
Yeah, I mean, it feels like every time, really. Wrestling is just it's such a cutthroat sport. I think everybody is equally has this killer winning mentality. Everybody's gonna do everything it takes to win a match. So when you're a lot smaller than everybody else, it's on you to reach into that bag of tricks to find different ways to win. So I'd say nearly every match I'm trying to find something new to pull out a victory because of.
Okay. Absolutely. Big Baby?
You said that you watched a lot of Rey Mysterio. Was it due that you boys liked baby faces, or are there any heels in the business that you like?
Oh, I'm always a wrestling fan, as everybody who gets into it really is. So yeah, I mean, I can appreciate a lot of good heel work. One of my favorite heel runs, ironically, comes from another one of the names already mentioned. It's definitely the heel Daniel Bryan run later in his WWE tenure as a Planet's champ. I also liked
I love
some of his heel end stuff in Ring of Honor with the Nigel McGuinness trilogy near the start of it when he was on the heel side of things. So I mean, I love Daniel Bryan. It's really the only way I could put it.
Okay. All right. Shoot, I forgot that question I was gonna ask. I literally had it right here in my head. So if you were to ever make it to the big leagues, let's say Raw, SmackDown, WWE, or AEW, where would you like to land up?
It's hard to say right now. I'm still so early in this. Just whatever opportunity comes my way is I'm gonna jump on that opportunity. I know a lot of guys in the Midwest and in Chicagoland / Wisconsin area, find themselves places like AAW and NWA as sort of a big step. I definitely would be looking forward to any sort of big promotion coming my way. I'm just whatever opportunity finds itself to me, I'm gonna jump on. So
okay, all right. And if you were to, let's just say you were to end up in WWE or AEW, what would be if you had the opportunity to face a top star, what would your favorite top star be that you'd like to face?
Oh, if we're just completely fantasy booking right now, I think
Yes.
I think it'd be pretty cool to go up with Gunther. Would be kind of sick.
Oh,
I think
he wants to go to Chop City.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh man.
You're my favorite big man in the game. Gunther is so impressive for his size.
Right.
He absolutely is. Absolutely is. Man, Gunther. Ooh. I don't know if I had to pick a dream match. I don't know if I'd want to face a man that his main move is chopping people in the chest. You've seen that. I don't know if you've seen it was on NXT, and Gunther chopped Ilya Dragunov in the chest, and it ricocheted throughout the stadium. Like I was like, oh my god, like woo. So, what was one of the funniest moments you've had so far in your wrestling career?
Oh man, definitely. In one of the promotions I consider my home, Frontline Pro, I have the honor of teaming with the Minnesota Wrecker, Josh Price. He's a very experienced veteran, but being able to be in his corner and just having experience with him, we have a lot of good, funny moments. The first time we ever came out, it was we got paired together in this randomizer tag team tournament, and we were having some issues with the sound system. So in order to walk out, Josh Price had the brilliant genius idea that we'd come up with our own song and start rapping the chorus, and we went out there mic in hand and started singing it ourselves.
Okay, awesome. And we have a fan in the audience that hi. It's actually Deliana. I don't know if you caught the little thing going around MCW. This little girl, the stare down right here. Nasty Nick Nolan and Deliana had a stare down at the MCW show prior, the one right before the one that you came to. and it started a whole thing called the Blue Shirt Girl. And this last show, Nasty Nick knew that she was planning another stare down with him and completely avoided that side of the ring. So, pulling off his heel gimmick 100% and doing what he does best, ignoring people. He did great on that. But Deliana was a little disappointed because she didn't get to do her stare down. Is Nasty Nick Nolan, I tell you, man, that guy, he's a top-notch dude, and he's awesome. And when it comes to night and day between himself and his wrestling gimmick itself, he pulls it off to the top T. So 100%. Big Baby, you were saying something?
I was about to ask, another young talent out in the Midwest that's been on Wrestling with Bros, Austin Michael Baldridge. Would you like to do anything with him?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, I've never got to work Austin AMB one-on-one, but I have had encounters with him in the ring. We
Really?
A promotion called New Wrestling Revolution out in Peoria. We had a four-way. It was me, AMB, my tag partner at Defiant, Kid Riot, Nathan, and then Scotty Keys, and we had a very good high octane fatal four-way. This past I think it was yesterday, actually, right? Today is a Monday. Yeah, so yeah, yesterday at Defiant Pro, it was me and Kid Riot versus Ambrose and Reeves from Freelance versus Koa, my cousin, Koa Laxamana. And
oh, that's your cousin?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then
we've been trying to get a hold of him to get him on the show.
Yeah. But he was teaming with AMB yesterday too, and we had a very fun outing there. So yeah, but I love Awesome Michael Baldridge. He's been a good friend of mine as of pretty recently, and him and Koa in particular have given me a lot of good opportunities of opening doors for me. So I'm very thankful to Austin, very thankful to Koa. They're both
great guys.
Yeah.
Okay, and so out of all the promotions been so far, you said what school did you go to?
Wrestle League.
Wrestle League. Okay. Out of all the promotions that you kind of had a chance, and I know a lot of people don't like to answer this question because they don't want to rub people the wrong way. What was your favorite promotion that you've been a part of thus far in your career?
Oh man, it definitely is a tough question. Professionally, it's a tough question. I do have, a lot of promotions I do consider home. Of course, Wrestle League, as I did train there. That's definitely always going to be home in some aspect. In terms of my absolute favorite, it definitely comes down to Wrestle League. It comes down to Frontline Pro is definitely in the forefront of my mind. It's Ben McCoy. It's a great locker room. They put on great shows over there. It's a wonderful atmosphere. What I like so much about Frontline, actually, is that it's definitely the promotion that feels the most like a comic book to me, and that makes me feel at home as I am a superhero myself. So yeah, Frontline, Wrestle League, those are some of my favorites. I'm always thankful to All Star Lucha, as that's where I got my Lucha start. So definitely those three mainly come to mind. But I gotta
ask. Did the hurricane play a part in anything in choosing your character?
Yeah, I mean, a little, yeah, of course. I still remember his segments with The Rock are always really funny. I always go back and
I knew you were going to ask that question. Yeah. It's a hurricane.
Hey, you know what? The Hurricane is one of the best cruiserweights to ever do it.
Yes.
So we kind of got an assumption that, Rey Mysterio, Daniel Bryan are some of your favorite top of the line professional superstars out there. In the female division, what would you say would be one of your top favorite female superstars as far as if you want to name one in the indie circuit, if you want to name one in some of the higher promotions like WWE, AEW, what would you say?
In terms of the higher promotions, I've always been a big AJ Lee fan when she was having her run, because she was sort of there when I was still
Absolutely
a
love
young
AJ Lee.
wrestling fan. So she was pretty prevalent when I was keeping up with WWE the most. Always been a big Becky Lynch fan. In terms of local, I mean, there's so many great ones in the local scene. Definitely, Sierra comes to mind. Um, uh, Michelle, Leslie La Muñeca comes to mind. She's very great too. A good friend of mine, Brittany Kay out of Wrestle League. She's climbing the ranks herself. She's very, very good. I'm very excited to see how her career expands and grows. So definitely, there's so many great Midwest talents just all around. So
okay, and so there's a lot of theme songs out there, that people choose and whatnot, but ones that are going to be more commonly remembered would be like WWE and AEW. What would you say your top favorite entrance theme would be, and your least favorite?
I'd say the ones I listen to the most while walking and exercising and that kind of stuff is always I'm a big Voices guy, Randy Orton.
Yeah, RKO.
The King, Motorhead, Triple H theme song. That one in particular is that's my favorite of the Triple H theme songs. It's so cool every single time. I really like AJ Styles, Phenomenal is really good. I've been listening to the old Usos theme song.
There you go.
Frequently, yeah. Least favorite, I don't really know. I mean, if I don't like the song, I'm not really listening to it anyways. So I can't really.
Well, obviously, it's the ones that you're not listening to because you find no interest in them.
Right. Yeah.
So, what's your favorite gimmick in wrestling today? Besides your own, we know you like your own. Your favorite gimmick in wrestling today, and your least favorite gimmick.
Ooh. Does this extend to the indies as well?
Yes, it does.
All right.
The indies is better than professional wrestling.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan, just from like a more fan perspective, because I don't, I mean, I have a lot of friends, of course, in the industry, but there's also some people I'm fans of from a distance. Doom Montgomery from CSW is a pretty cool gimmick because he has that whole American Psycho vibe going on, which I'm a big fan of. I think that's a creative thing. The Bro Bros are a tag team that came up from Wrestle League, who are pretty widely known in the scene too. Who they're just these lovable stoner guys, and they're just so fun. Cool. They're just so fun every single time I watch them. I love being on shows with them. They're my really good friends, but also just as a fan, I love the gimmick so much.
So you say they'd go along real well with Matt Riddle?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Matt Riddle, RVD.
Absolutely. And what was your least favorite gimmick?
And
you don't have to bash anybody.
No, yeah, of course not. In terms of bigger promotions, I don't know. I mean, there's been of course, gimmicks like Stardust weren't very, they're sort of awkward to watch a little bit.
Yeah.
No, there's nothing that's super abhorrent in my head that I really super dislike. So
mine was the Blue Meanie.
Blue Meanie, all right.
Oh God, that was awful.
That was terrible.
I'm sorry, but he may have put on some good matches, but Doink the Clown.
When? Maybe as a filler in the hardcore division.
I said maybe.
Maybe as a filler in the hardcore division.
What about was it Gobbledygook? The Gobbledygooker? that was really dumb too. What would you say in matches that you've seen in your career? Since you've been paying attention to the wrestling world, you can talk about up there in the higher leagues or even lower leagues. Would you say it was one of the most overrated and underrated matches?
Ooh, overrated matches. We'll talk about underrated first, because definitely, I definitely have more of those in mind. One of my favorites that I always go back watching is definitely I don't think gets talked about enough Daniel Bryan and John Cena from SummerSlam. I really like that match. Just in terms of matches that are put up, full matches on YouTube. I definitely like to go back and watch that one a lot. In the local scene, there's been a whole lot. So one of the best matches I've seen live, because I was there, because I worked the same show, was at one of our frontline shows. There was a match between Shaq Jordan, generational treasure, and Quinn Whittick. It was absolutely one of the best matches I've seen in person. Yeah, I love both of those guys. I'm good friends with them, and I love watching them work, and just get to seeing that match play out for the Frontline Pro World Championship was absolutely incredible. Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely.
So the fans are in the comment section, and they're asking about Lizard Man Nile, which is coming on tomorrow. What's your opinion on Lizard Man?
It's actually funny. One of my first ever matches, it was before I even hit 10. Actually, I had this triple threat. It was a dark match for Squared Circle Megastars, and it was me versus Nathan Nile, the Lizard Man, and another one of his partners from Just Amazing School. Sorry, I'm sort of blanking on his name right now. I feel real bad about that. But we had a really great triple threat match out in Squared Circle. It was really cool. So I've worked Nathan before, and I've seen how much his career has skyrocketed over the past 2 years or so, and it's just really cool to see. He was a wonderful guy.
Okay, yeah, Lizard Man. I trained personally with him, and yeah, he's a hell of a performer. I mean, I watched that man do some stuff that I wouldn't even dare try, as far as flips and stuff like that. Like, he'll take a super kick and do a full flip back in the air. So, what was one of your favorite shows that you've ever been to, if you've been to like a wrestling show?
When I was younger, in 2013, I went to a payback with my mom and dad. They took me, and I think it was 2013. I don't know. It was the show where there was a 3 stages of hell match with John Cena and Ryback. That's
okay.
It was that payback. I remember that. And there was just being able to see John Cena attitude adjustment Ryback into an ambulance was pretty cool. So probably that, yeah. In terms of WWE shows, at least.
Absolutely. I can definitely agree with that. You know, I followed John Cena's career all the way through, clear to even the stuff he's doing now every now and then. I start right when he started, clear through. And he's a hell of a guy, hell of a performer, and he's all about the kids and stuff when it comes to Make-A-Wish. So, you know, props to him for sure, 100%. Go ahead, Big Baby.
Is there any moves that you would love to add to your arsenal?
Ooh, I'm always watching other high flyers, other cruiserweights, and what they do. A lot of cool stuff. I've been doing it for a little bit now, but I would definitely like to utilize a code red more into a lot of my matches. So I've been working on that a lot. That's definitely the first thing comes to mind. In terms of new stuff, I'm always open to trying different stuff. So, I'm sure if I see it, I'll know.
Okay. Who would you say has the best merch right now out there on the just out there in the wrestling world?
Well, I think if you're looking for cool, high quality homemade merch that they do by hand, and it looks like professional quality as well. I mentioned the Bros earlier. They have these cool like tie-dye shirts that they print themselves. Are really cool. They also sell like hats and hacky sacks and bandanas and stuff, and it really just fits their overall vibe and theme. And I just love those guys, and I bought a lot of merch from the Bros. It's always cool to see what they're coming up with.
Okay. And what would you, in the wrestling world today, what would you say is one of the best nicknames out there and one of the worst nicknames?
Quinn Whittick goes by the moniker Sexy Violence a lot. I think that's pretty sick. Worst nicknames? I don't know. I'm not too sure about worst. Nothing really comes to mind once again.
Okay.
Yeah, can't really think of anything off the top.
All right. Who in the wrestling world would you say has the best mic skills to date?
Ooh.
CM Punk.
Probably overall, I'd say I'd give my vote to MJF. I mean,
Okay, I like that one.
He's pretty incredible on the stick. Always fun to watch. He cut that promo when he just came back recently at Double or Nothing, and he made that Wolf of Wall Street reference. So
I think he started getting better. I'll be honest with you. I think he started getting better after he had that face off with CM Punk when CM Punk returned, and CM Punk slaughtered him on the mic.
Yeah.
Like just absolutely just brutalized him. Everything he said, CM Punk had the perfect comeback to, and just shut him up. So absolutely, Big Baby.
Is there any belts in any promotion that Kid Lat has his eye on?
Ooh, I'm in a lot of tag teams, that's for sure. In Frontline, I'm in a tag team with Josh Price. We're called Kid Lat and the Big Guy. We're always hunting for the Frontline Pro World Tag Team titles. That's definitely the number one that comes to mind. Absolutely, is the Frontline Pro Tag Team Championships. Had our eyes on those for a while. We're definitely in the hunt. We're in the mix for those for sure. Yesterday, me and Riot were once again Kid Riot. We were in that match for the tag team championships with Koa and AMB, and then Reeves and Ambrose. And then of course, Wrestle League tag titles. Just everywhere I'm at, we always got to stay hungry for big wins and big titles. And I love tag team wrestling, and I'm in a lot of good tag teams. Whether it's with my roommate Adonis Allen or Kid Riot or Josh Price. So, definitely tag team championships would be great.
So, if you kind of dig back in wrestling history, what would you say was one of the most annoying voices in wrestling history?
Annoying voices like their actual physical voice?
Like when they come out and they start talking on the mic and you're just like, please shut up.
I absolutely love Seth Rollins. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. I think he's amazing, and he's a great talker too, I think. But he does have somewhat of a nasally voice, I will say. I mean, I don't hate it. It's not like I hate it. But if I had to have an answer to that, he does have somewhat of a nasally voice. So,
me personally, I would have to say Vicky Guerrero.
I was about to say Vicky Guerrero.
Excuse me.
I would also like to throw in JBL's was annoying as a heel back in the day. It wasn't believable, in my opinion. He just didn't sell it.
No, he didn't. So, if you're digging into the wrestling world, what would you say? I want to kind of dig into the pro line a little bit here for a minute. What would you say is one of the best factions out there to date? And you can kind of go back in history a little bit. It doesn't have to be currently running right now.
Right. I mean, the Shield was awesome. Seeing their whole run. Although it's recent, obviously the Bloodline sort of took TV wrestling into a better era than it once was in. Yeah, I mean those are definitely the two that comes to mind. Trying to think back earlier. Wyatt family at its peak was really cool too.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see this whole new Wyatt 6 faction.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
It keeps flickering like little scan codes across the screen during the wrestling shows, and I'm waiting. Like there was a rumor it was supposed to happen at King and Queen of the Ring, but I think they're saving it for SummerSlam because that's when Bray Wyatt returned. Was at SummerSlam. I think it was right the year before he was born. He passed away. Jesus. But before he passed away, when he returned, it was at SummerSlam. So I think that's probably why they're going to save it for SummerSlam. to kind of put it on a big stage and also kind of in Bray Wyatt's memory, since it's kind of in his memory and they're bringing this faction in to kind of honor him. I think that's that's going to be an interesting faction. As whether or not it'll take off, I don't know, because there's a lot of mixed feelings.
They got Eric Rowan in there, man. That's enough right there. They just re-signed the big man.
It's not necessarily that. I think it's because the fans' emotions are mixed. Like some people are like, oh, they're all for it. Other fans are like, please just leave it alone. The man passed away. Let him rest in peace. Don't keep bringing back up what he already did.
Bray would want his brother Bo Dallas to succeed.
He would, absolutely.
He wouldn't take food out of his mouth.
No, absolutely, he'd want him to succeed. It's whether or not the fans are going to go for it. That's what it comes down to. But what would you say was one of the worst factions?
Oh, I mean, this isn't really their fault because obviously they definitely could have been booked better because we were all very excited for them when they first came out. But the Nexus obviously should have been, a much bigger thing than they ended up being, I feel.
Yeah.
Taken out by one man.
They were taken down by John Cena. Once he got that golden shovel out, he started digging. He buried.
We got Oscar Rodriguez in the comments from MCW. Hello, fellas. It was a pleasure having Kid Lat and MCW. Hope to have you back soon. How's
it going, brother? Yeah, absolutely, man. We enjoyed your high flying ability, and we were glad to see you at the show, and that's why I told Ben, I said, man, I got to get a hold of this guy. Hopefully he answers because we message a lot of wrestlers, and some answer right back. Other ones they just don't respond. So, and it's no hurt off my back because we're out here trying to help you guys so you can succeed and get the spotlight to kind of tell people who you are. Maybe hopefully another promotion. But hey, that guy looks interesting. Hey, why don't we try to book him? So
it's not about us. It's about you guys and the hard work that you guys do every day, every week, because you guys are extreme workouts. I mean, it's not easy. I'm sure it's very tiring, isn't it?
Yeah.
What would you say? So if you had to pick any wrestler out there, which one would you say should turn heel, and which one do you think should be a face?
Ooh, It's a great question. Who should turn heel right now? Oh, that's tough. Yeah.
I stopped there.
For the longest time, we all wanted like Chad Heel Gable or heel Chad Gable. I'm glad we're getting that now. That would definitely be my previous answer to see where that plays out. And it's working right now. There's guys in like tag teams where you maybe want to see, not that the tag team's not great or anything, but like when's the Montez Ford like singles run?
Yeah, when is that supposed to happen?
Yeah. Like that would be cool.
What's your favorite tag team right now? Those two wrestling guys. They were
the Creed brothers.
Creed brothers.
Yeah.
They would make an absolutely, and there's rumors that it's kind of slowly working its way to teaming up with Chad Gable, as a heel faction,
right?
And that faction would be dominant because the Creed.
We have a major comment in from MCW Oscar Rodriguez, and this is for you, Kid Lat. I got it on good accord that Benjamin the Jet Trust was pretty intrigued by Kid Lat and asked management to make something happen. Wow. The Jet.
Wow. Benjamin the Jet Trust, man. He
just got done talking to him earlier today.
Hell yeah, man. That'd be a hell of a match. And the Jet, I mean, I watched him in his match, man, and he's very good about, supporting his wrestler when he's in the match with them and making sure they're taken care of, even while he's destroying them.
Yeah.
Can we get a comment on the Jet?
Well, I know we already talked. You asked me that question earlier about the like best gimmicks in wrestling. I completely should have said Ben Trust too. He's got the whole Top Gun thing going on. I'm such a big Top Gun fan, by the way. So when I first like learned of Ben Trust, I was like, wow, this is incredible. But yeah, I mean, absolutely it'd be an honor to work with him. To go to war with Ben Trust would be absolutely a great experience.
Let's get that on the card, MCW.
Get it on the card because Kid Lat is down. He said, I'm all for it. Let's go. 100%.
That's awesome.
So what would you say is one of your favorite finishers?
It's gonna be sort of I feel like too obvious of an answer for me, but I mean the 619 I use all the time, and it's still, to this date probably my favorite move. So yeah, the 619. It's got to be my answer.
Okay. And what's your least favorite finisher? You're like, there's no way that finished somebody.
Probably the Ultimate Warrior splash. I mean, he's a big dude, but I mean, come on.
Sting's fly to the corner. The Stinger splash. That to me, it didn't look like it hurt.
So, and you're not gonna hurt our feelings any at all. But what's your favorite wrestling podcast / YouTube channel that you've been on or seen or to date?
Well, I mean, it's obviously it's a great experience being on here. Absolutely Wrestling with Bros. In terms of other podcasts, though, definitely the one that comes to mind is the Power Hour with Steve Arendt. Okay. Steve, sort of, he's a commentator and an interviewer, all around just talent. Steve Arendt. He's with us with Frontline. He's with us with Wrestle League a lot. He's whole other places. I know he does commentary for CSW. But he has a podcast with Rion Scales and C Red and Russian Blue Cactus Rack. It's called the Power Hour. I've been on it before, but even before I was on it, I was already such a big Power Hour fan because they also, it's a lot like what you guys do here. They give a very valuable spotlight to a lot of they make it a point to give it a spotlight to a lot of the talents in the region, and it just. Stuff like this is always just so healthy for just the scene. So very thankful for that.
Okay. Absolutely. And so far in your wrestling career, I know you have tons of respect for a lot of people, I'm sure. But who personally in your wrestling career do you have the most respect for that has given you the most oomph in your wrestling career so far that make you really believe in yourself?
I have to go back to my coaches again. Obviously, Shogun, Chris Logan, Quinn Whittick, Lewis the Wrench, and Shane Foster. But especially, I love all those guys absolutely. But the endorsement I immediately received from my debut from Quinn Whittick had always been meant something special to me, and has opened up countless amount of doors that I wouldn't be able to, honestly, without that jump start I got from him. And he's one of my best friends. I consider him, like a big brother sort of figure to me, and just having his support was really one of the main things that's been able to get me in the right space to be me and to do what I do.
All right, absolutely. Big baby?
Well, it's been an amazing time. This has been one of the awesomest interviews that we've had on Wrestling Bros, and you brought major energy tonight. Wonderful, awesome wrestling stories, and you're such a humble person, and it was so awesome to work with you, and I hope we get to do it again. In a little bit when your career. The fans want to update. We want to update, that'd be awesome. Kid Lat Part 2.
Absolutely. It was great having a superhero on the show. And I expect if I'm getting mugged or attacked, I expect you to come to my rescue, man.
I got you. I'll be there.
Absolutely,
Like
absolutely.
a flash of lightning, I'll be right there.
You know, my
Awesome.
top favorite superhero is Superman, but you're right there next to him now,
Right,
man. So,
right.
absolutely.
I'm gonna try and give Clark a run for his money, though.
You might not want to pick that fight.
This is a green
I
rock.
thought Apex was harder than Superman.
Better have some meteor rock with you, or some magical skills. All right.
Well, I'm Big Baby Ben.
This is Judas Black. This has been an exclusive with the Kid Lat, Boy Wonder, and this has been another amazing episode of Wrestling with Bros. Thank you all.